My name is Mr. Skelly, and in this unit, we are going to be learning about how to develop games in Scratch. Now, we have three learning outcomes. Number one, we are going to learn how to develop games using sequencing. We are going to use selection and iteration within a program. And three, we are going to use variables to include time, speed, and score in a video game. Now, some of you may have used Scratch before in Year 7 or in Year 6, and it's a fantastic piece of software that introduces you to the world of computer game development and programming. So let's not waste any time and let's have a little look at the Scratch interface. So what I would like you to do, I would like you to go onto Google and you're going to search for Scratch. Now, Scratch is really good because you do not need to download anything anymore. You can use the online free version and you can save your files and upload them online. So it's really good, really easy, really fast in terms of developing your very first game. So once you've opened up this window, what we're going to do first of all, before we start learning how to program ourselves, we're going to experiment developing and looking at a pre-written Pac-Man game. So you can just search for Pac-Man, click enter, and as you can see here, there are hundreds, you can keep scrolling down, of Pac-Man games that have been pre-written by other people for you to be able to experiment and play with. So what I'd like you to do, and you can do this with a sibling, your parent, or anybody nearby, play around and experiment with these games. What did you like? What features of the game will you try to use in your own game? What would you improve about the games you played? Now, I would recommend spending 10 minutes on this. You can also play around with a wide variety of games. See if you can pick and find your favorite three. Now, to play the game, click on the one you have chosen. And then you can read the instructions, or if you think you're very confident, you can just start playing straight away to see how you play the game. What I also want you to look at once you've finished, you can have a look at the actual code that was used and developed to program this particular game. And what you can start to look at is some of the instructions. How much of it can you make sense of? If key up arrow pressed or key down arrow pressed, next costume. So you can start to see how these games are produced with different scripts. Okay, so you should have played and experimented with the different games. Now let's have a look at the interface for ourselves. So you're going to go back to Scratch. I'm going to leave the page. And now instead of searching for a game, you're going to press Create. And you're going to press Close. Now there are three main areas that we're going to look out for. Number one, this is the coding area. If you look on the left hand side, you'll see a range of different categories: motion, look, sound, events, control, sensing, operators, variables, and my blocks. Now these are the different categories for the different types of scripts you can use. So if you would like to make a character move, there are many different ways we can do that, and you would need to look inside the motion category. Move 10 steps, turn 15 degrees, to the right, turn 15 degrees to the left. You can, of course, change these values. Once you've found the particular block or script you would like to use, you drag down and you move it into this area. So this area is the scripts area development. So you're going to use this area to write your code essentially, and you can grab as many different blocks as you'd like. Now on the right hand side, this is the stage. So this is the area where you're going to see the output, the product of what you've actually coded here. So this is where the user and the developer, you, is going to interact and test to see if your game is actually working. Now there are many different views. You can make it a little bit smaller if you've got a lot of code. You can have the standard view and the preview mode here. So this is like the main mode that you would use once you're testing the game out from start to finish. If I scroll down now, you can see there are other areas and other sections and other parts of the interface. So you've got sprites. This is the sprites section. Now a sprite is another word for character, object, or just in general things, okay? And you are going to create a wide range of different sprites, and each of them will have a separate set of instructions that they are going to follow. Now to create a new sprite, you can see here, choose a sprite, you can search for one, you can paint your own, which I would recommend you doing, and you can select surprise or upload. So that's if you've got a picture somewhere on your computer, you can upload it as well. Now, the only tip I'm going to give you is whenever you want something to happen in Scratch, it needs to be attached to the when green flag is clicked. So that's inside events, not control. So what we're going to do very quickly is we are going to make our sprite move 10 steps once I press on the green flag. I'm also going to make it turn 15 degrees. In fact, no, we'll change that to 90, and then we'll make it move 20 steps. So this is our first introduction to sequencing. We can see there are 4 scripts. The first thing, when the green flag is clicked. Secondly, move 10 steps. Third, turn 90 degrees to the right. And lastly, move 20 steps. So let's see what this is going to make our character do. Okay, now that was very quick, and the steps were very small, but the character actually moved 10 steps, turned 90 degrees, and moved 20. Now you can, of course, change these values to see fit based on what you would actually like. So this is the 10-minute challenge you are going to now embark on before we actually start developing the game properly. How can you use sound? How can you use sound in Scratch? I want you to have a look around the Scratch interface. Can you start using sounds? How do you create another sprite? And thirdly, can you make your new sprite move? Okay, so we've got the cat moving, but now the new sprite you've created, can you now make it move? 10-minute challenge, what can you create? Once you've finished with your game, so that you don't lose it, you can press File and Save. Okay, it's really important that we save our work so that when it comes to developing it next time round, we can continue from where we were last. Before I finish the video, if you have any questions, please email me. My email is on the Google Classroom list, or of course just email your ICT teacher and they will be able to get back to you as soon as possible.